Okay, great. Can you and Tygo better than the market? I hear you. I hear you. Completely agree with that. Yeah, a lot of I tell you what, when you think you have a handle on things, it just continues to expand and expand and expand. Yeah, two kings, three queens. Yeah, I understand things are, as you say, heating up there in New Jersey. Hopefully things will kind of mellow out for you guys a bit. Yes, pay the bill. Uh, okay, thanks. Yeah, I think the video connection is okay for now because we're not really pushing out any video, but I'm kind of concerned as soon as I do, it's gonna start getting choppy on you guys. Not sure why it's going from green to yellow to red. Maybe a lot of guys are just staying home and on the internet right now. Not sure what it is, but anyway, with that, welcome to another edition of Silver Bullion. Being here, we appreciate whatever input you folks offer, except you trolls. You trolls, you don't know what's wrong with you guys. You folks always seem to have something to say, but hey, we'll let the rest of the posse take care of you guys if they need to. Anyway, glad you all could be here. William Cruz, thank you. Audio video is good. Okay, let's hope it holds up. I'm not sure why I'm getting green and yellow and red here for that, but let's see how it goes. Uh, New Orleans is bad. I understand, yeah, what's going on with this right now. Um, Sorry about that. I'm just seeing all kind of messages coming in where just give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go back to the beginning opening scene. Hang on for a minute. Okay, is that any better for you guys? Okay, so yeah, I know I had to kind of disconnect and reconnect. I'm hoping it's better this time around. But anyway, we'll just push forward and whatever happens happens, right? Sometimes that's all you can do. So again, thanks for being here. Normal Norm, RR, Brian Jenkin, Butchie Harding, Built Ford Tough. Built Ford Tough, you guys are going to be making some ventilators, right? From what I understand as well. Grow Mechanic, Butchie Harding, yes. Gary D, welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Hopefully this thing runs okay. Um, James Richter, Brian, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Really do appreciate it. But again, if you guys are new here, usually we don't have technical difficulties, but if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Go ahead and click on the bell to be notified of new updates and give us a thumbs up if you like what we do. Again, we truly do appreciate your support. Your support is what keeps us going. Not necessarily in the monetary sense, but just your support in that you folks always join me and voice your opinions. That's what really makes these things work. On social media, you can find us silverbullion.com.sg. That's our website where we do sell silver and gold. We are a bullion dealer. We also do storage in Singapore, and we do also what's called a peer-to-peer lending program where you can actually use your bullion as collateral to get a low interest loan and go ahead and buy more bullion if you want or whatever you need to do. Facebook, Silver Bullion SG, Twitter at Silver Bullion PL for private limited. The audio versions, bit.ly, bit.ly, SBTV iTunes, SBTV Spotify, and again, join our Telegram group. If you have that app, join Crisis Tracker, and that's where we go ahead and we will try to keep people updated or post things that have to do with gold, silver, the economy, uh, finances, things like that. So we try to really try and push out information as best we can. Um, Conway, welcome aboard. Dane, Hostel of Corcosa, how you doing? Anna, how are you doing? Map of Tassie, how you doing, my friend? Uh, Jim, Crypto Roger, Maureen Davis, William Cruz. Um, Glad you guys could make it. Really do appreciate you folks being here. Pablo Pina, how you doing? George Kaiser, how you doing? Yes, what a week. I mean, it's like I said last week. You know, you about beginning of the week, midweek, you try to pick a topic to go over for the live stream. And then by the time Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday rolls around, your topic is basically getting kind of stale. So it's getting increasingly difficult to keep up with things that may matter to you guys the most. So, but one thing I know matters is gold and silver. So I just want to go ahead and head over to our website and take a look at the gold and silver price right now. USD silver 1435. It's come down a bit. Gold 1620. It's come down a bit. It's amazing how these metals they come down, but they do bounce. They do come back up, and I'm just amazed right now how people are not really heading more into metals. Well, actually, they are. I should take that back. I'm just more amazed at how the spot price is actually, or the physical price is breaking away from the spot price. That's really where we're at. It's that I think spot is becoming a little bit more insignificant as days go by. And taking a look at the ratio, it's 112.9. So we've come down a bit. We were in the 20 range, 120 plus to 1. We've come down a bit, 112. Still, it is a good time to buy silver. No doubt about that, especially when this ratio starts to head back down. But then again, also, it is hard to not buy gold. I mean, when you got that little bit of FUD going on, that fear, uncertainty, and whatnot, some guys would just rather go straight to gold, and you know hey, nothing wrong with that. So some guys straight to gold, some guys they'll play the ratio, and some guys what's more economic for them is just straight up silver. So everyone's different. Everyone has a little bit of a different situation. So with that, I want to go ahead and take a look at my Twitter feed, see what's going on. So I bookmark certain things, and it's it is crazy out there. Catherine Austin Fitz. I know a lot of you guys know who she is, and yes, we've been trying to get her on. But she says I'm kind of curious for who or what they're really looking for. Hang on. Where police, military begin door-to-door searches to hunt down New York, maybe New Yorkers it says, but not only not only will cops be violating Fourth Amendment rights, the governor also announced that Rhode Island cops have begun pulling over. Let's open this up. This sounds pretty interesting. Um, let's just hope the source is good. Catherine Austin Fitz is forwarding it, so I'm from her credibility. I'm assuming this is good. Um, in perhaps the most unprecedented attack on the Constitution on which the Free Thought Project has ever been reported, the governor of Rhode Island has announced that the National Guard will begin conducting house to house searches to hunt down New Yorkers seeking refuge in their state. Rhode Island people, chime in. Is this really true? Not only will cops be violating the Fourth Amendment rights of citizens in their homes, the governor also announced that Rhode Island cops have already begun pulling over every vehicle they see with a New York license plate. Uh, this is crazy if it's true. In a move that is reminiscent to that of Nazi Germany, the governor labeled an entire state a threat. Checkpoints have been set up along the interstate, and vehicles with New York plates are being stopped without probable cause on Friday. Well, that's just pretty amazing. What do you guys think about? I mean, is this true? First of all, are you guys seeing this Rhode Island, New York area? Let's see. A American Rebel 27 enjoy her salary. Yeah, Catherine is good. She is good. Batman, hit the like button. Yes, please. Like button really does, really does help us. You guys have no idea how much it helps us. So appreciate if you guys can do that. RR, yes, Catherine Austin Fitz. She's solid. That's why I went ahead and put that article based on her credibility alone, which is as good as gold, as some people might say. Built for tough. It's true. Okay, so there you go, Tom. All states. Okay, I tell you what, this is if it's really like that, where guys are getting pulled over just because of their license plate. That I mean, you know, this is no different from show me your papers, right? You don't have to show people your papers to travel around. Polynesian Pip, aloha. How you doing? Butchie Harding, Mexico is looking better every day. Yep, that is true. That is true. I guess we kind of go back to this whole thing about the wall, right? The wall is meant to keep people out, but at the same time, it keeps people in. So it's I mean, who knows? I'm sure this is going to come back in debates again. Tom, the wall is to keep. Yeah, yeah. Well, I do remember years ago, there was sort of a economic or financial wall that was built um, around 2013, 14, um, for guys who are looking to renounce their citizenship and live outside. I mean, they're U.S. citizens, but already living outside the U.S. for quite some time. To renounce their citizenship, it was only like a few $100s, and then overnight it changed up to a couple $1,000s. So financially, if you're a family of four now, quite expensive to get your family out and repatriate, and so that there is a bit of a financial wall that's gone up as well. Um, Creepy, yeah, yeah. Reports from the ground in Rhode Island say yes. Yeah, this unfortunate. This it's really unfortunate. Okay, let's go back and see what else is going on there. Uh, Jesse Colombo, we've also been trying to get him on as well. He says prediction: when the coronavirus lockdowns end, people are going to realize that we're in a depression and their jobs, businesses are not coming back because the everything bubble has burst. We're going to have mass protests and riots that will put Occupy Wall Street in 2011 to shame. To shame. What do you guys feel about that one? I mean, it's I mean, you got two things going on, right? You got the virus, which is real, that's going on. You got this whole, you know, fiasco in the markets, which is also real. So you have these two real things sort of running parallel to each other, sort of crossing over to each other in places here and there. But in the end, I think I think if we take a good look, and if we're all going to be honest here, a lot of us are honestly asking to be locked down. So I mean, if like what Jesse is saying, people are asking themselves to be locked down because of the virus, of course, and when we come out, we're going to see what really happened with the markets. But I think a lot of guys who are not really attuned to what's going on with the markets. It's just moving way too quick. So you got two parallel events that do cross over in certain places. So just always try and be aware of that. Um, Ben Daigle, it's true. Cops are also going to vacation towns to see if New York people are at their vacation home and send them home. They also can fine them $500. Jeez. Dan Pridgeon, government will never allow us to benefit from the coming moonshot in price of gold and silver. Dan, it's in some sense it's true. If the spot prices continually are held down the way that they are, but the fact is really you try and get the physical, and everybody knows, or everyone who's trying to get physical knows that spot price right now doesn't mean really much of anything. Um, the market is going to set the price. The market is definitely trying to set the price right now outside of the spot price. Are unfortunate but expected. It's true, definitely true. Let's take a look at maybe one or two more. Um, from Market Watch, this is pretty unbelievable. A record 3.28 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits. I mean, this is incredible in the sense that when you look at this chart, all the way back, it goes all the way back to the 70s, starts off in, and it's fairly consistent until now. And there's just this huge, huge spike. And you got to wonder as the days, weeks go by, is this number going to continue? Is it going to be the new norm where what we see here, these consistent numbers on the bottom, start to be consistent numbers on the top? You kind of makes you wonder: is this going to end up being the new norm? So again, something we need to be aware of. From Arcadia Economic, Chris. Chris is a pretty good guy too. There's no gold. Comics report exposes conditions behind physical crunch. This is coming from Zero Hedge. The massive engineered drop in paper silver prices versus the massively higher physical silver prices for the past month backfired. Okay. Um, let's take a quick look at this also, and then we'll head out into some other things. Winging it, Tracy. Yes, LBMA. They absolutely want to change the rules. Um, it's like it's like when you're kids and you're playing a game and some guy is losing and he wants to change the rules so he has a better chance at winning. That seems to be what's going on right now. So Zero Hedge. Earlier this week, we were among the first to report on the breakdown in precious metals prices. While the demand for gold has been soaring as a safe haven asset amid the multiple global crises, we are currently facing forced paper gold liquidation as leveraged funds scramble to cover margin calls and unprecedented logistical disruptions created a frantic hunt for actual bars of gold. Specifically, as Bloomberg details, at the center of it all are a small band of traders who, for years, had cashed in on what had always been a surefire bet, shorting gold futures in New York against being long physical gold in London. Usually, they'd ride the trade out to the end of the contract when they'd have a couple of options to get out without marking much, if any loss. So I think most of us we've seen this already, right? We see it every so many weeks, months. We always come across this. But the virus and the global economic collapse that is sparking have created such extreme price distortions that those easy exit options disappeared on them, which means that they suddenly face the threat of having to deliver actual gold bars to the buyers of the contract upon maturity. It's at this point that things get really bad for the short sellers. To make good on maturing contracts, they'd have to move actual gold from various locations, but the virus shutting down air travel across the globe, procuring a flight to transport the metal became nearly impossible. And this is what's kind of going on right now. You had some refineries shutting down. You have people on lockdown. So gold is either not being produced or refined right now, and it's definitely not able to be shipped right now. So I would say that the gold and silver is I would say that it's there, but it's just that it can't be delivered right now. And I guess it's true why we see shortages right now. Um, Lyle Budd, it's BS. I'm holding and buying absolutely. You want to hold, you want to GOTL, GOTL, and you want to buy. I think those are the two things that you want to do right now. So if I could, I mean, Gregor, the founder of Silver Bullion, and I, we had a chat about this, what's going on, and he would know because he's at the tip of the spear as far as trying to get gold and silver, right? So I think let me see if this will work. Um, okay, yeah, that won't work. I may put a link up later on at some point where we had a chat about it. And then we saw this stimulus bill. Uh, incredible stuff. It's just been a hectic week with the news. Will you get a $1,200 check from the $2 trillion stimulus bill? Depends on how much money you make. So millions of Americans are slated to receive $1,200 checks as part of a true $2 trillion stimulus bill, but there's a cutoff determining who's eligible for the money. There's a cutoff. People making over 99,000 and married couples making above 198,000 will not will not be receiving the payments, according to an analysis of the bill released earlier this week. So not everyone's getting it. Okay, the earnings limit is 146,500 for people who file their taxes as head of household. The head of household status means a person is unmarried, paying for more than half of a household's expenses and claiming at least one dependent. So again, not everyone is getting this. The relief, I don't want to say that word because YouTube likes to crack down on people who say that word. Um, the thing, Relief and Economic Security Act, which President Donald Trump signed into law Friday, says taxpayers making up to 75,000 in adjusted gross income will receive $1,200 checks and 500 for each child. The same rules apply for married couples who file returns under 150,000. So that's pretty much the gist of it. It depends on how much money you're making or how much money you're not making. So let's hope if you do need the relief, let's hope that you're part of the people that do get it. Um, let's see. Grow mechanic. I hold gold, silver, lead. There you go. I think more people are gonna do that. I've been seeing reports where there's been a lot more gun sales lately going on. So I think what you're saying is there. Elbo Sanchez, aloha. Long time no see, my friend. Hope everything there is well. Let's see. Lord Humongous, 1,200 in American Silver Eagles delivered by U.S. Mint. Yeah, they're kind of they've really scaled back. I'm not sure if shut down would be the right word, but they really pulled back as well. Um, let's see. Uh, Sorry, let me look through this. RR, yeah, thanks for the crumbs. With all the rules and stipulations, while the big banks and multinational companies get trillions, no strings attached. Yeah, we're kind of sort of gonna get into those things. So we'll touch base on those things for sure. Anyway, coming up on SBTV, we have interviews with Jim Rogers, and then we also have an interview with the founder of Silver Bullion, Gregor Gregerson. I know Gregor's going to have a lot of good information that he wants to pass on to everyone. Jim Rogers, investor extraordinaire and best-selling author, Jim famously said, "There's going to be a huge shift in American society, American culture, in the places where one is going to get rich. The stockbrokers are going to be driving taxis." February 2018, he reportedly predicted that the next bear market would be the worst in our lifetime. And Gregor Gregerson, the founder of Silver Bullion Private Limited and the Safe House Vault in Singapore, Gregor will be giving us a very open and transparent assessment as to just how the bullion industry is doing and in some cases what they are doing. So I'll post some links from the discussion we had later on, maybe in the community group or something. I'll go ahead and post those. So be sure to subscribe and click on the bell so you don't miss these interviews that are coming up. And again, as always, if you have someone you'd like to see, let us know, and we'll try to get them on. We've really been trying, but I think so have everyone. So has everyone else been trying to get people like Catherine Austin, Fitz on, and Jesse Colombo on. So I think these guys are in high demand and short of time, but we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying to get those guys on. Let's see. Jim Rogers. He No, I didn't spell his name wrong, did I? I have to go back and check on that. One of us spelled his name wrong. I'm hoping it's you. We'll go back and check on that. Um, let's see. Matt Longstrad got some got some balls. Fight YouTube's First Amendment infringement. Talk to Humongous. He respects the first and will help. Okay, we'll do. Humongous, contact us. You know what I mean? For sure. Um, there have been there have been multiple times that even for us we've been demonetized. But again, for us, you know it's okay. I mean, it's not the purpose of why we're here. Our purpose isn't to necessarily make money off of YouTube. Our purpose is to always stay in touch with you guys, keep you informed, and try and help you out as best you can. And in fact, I guess having said that, I know a lot of you guys are, our clients at Silver Bullion, and we've been swamped with inquiries, with new accounts opening and things like that. So um, if you can at all, be a bit patient. I can promise you, I see the guys, they are up early in the morning, they are up till late at night 2, 3, 4 in the morning, trying to as best they can to get through the emails and inquiries. So a little bit of patience goes a long way. We appreciate that, and I can tell you they are surely working hard to try and get to each and every inquiry that comes in. So for our customers, our clients out there, hang in there. For you guys that have been opening new accounts, we're going to get to you as fast and as best as we can. And again, I give you my word on this. I see what's going on there. So hang tight, just hang tight, guys. Um, let's see what else is out there. Jim Rogers is a great interview. He's Jim is Jim. He's going to give you some new bits of information for sure, and then he will always give you the as well the position that he always holds. He's going to give you some repeat answers, and he's going to give you some new answers. So Jim, he's one of those guys. He's about as steady as they come. So he's going to have some good things to say. I'm positive on that. Definitely. Let's see. And the Crimex, absolutely. Indeed, dissolve bad businesses. Yeah, should have been that way. Should have been that way a long time ago. So I see a question out there, Lyle Budd. What is the Fed news? We're going to get to that. The Fed, I tell you what, they're talking cryptic nowadays. You can't even understand what the heck they're saying. But we're going to go over this recent interview that Jerome Powell had with Savannah Guthrie, and the reason why is because you rarely see the head of the Fed come out and give a pretty much open interview. So this is something that is a bit unusual, and so we just want to break it down a bit and go over that. It was a pretty open and candid interview, and I thought collectively, again, let's go over some of this great interview that it was. And so first, as Lyle said, what's the Fed news? Good luck to all of us as we try to understand what is going on with the Fed. This was a press release March last week. I'll put the link down here for you guys. You can read through it yourself because it's impossible to get through. So I'm going to pass it on to you guys. So what's going on with the Fed? Federal Reserve announces extensive new measures to support the economy. Federal Reserve is committed to using its full range of tools to support households, businesses, and the U.S. economy overall in this challenging time. Coronavirus pandemic is causing tremendous hardship across the U.S. and around the world. Our nation's first policy is to take care for those afflicted and to limit the further spread of the virus. While great uncertainty remains, it has become clear that our economy will face severe disruptions. Aggressive efforts must be taken across the public and private sectors to limit the losses to jobs and incomes and to promote a swift recovery once the disruptions abate. Okay, so that's their overall position, and then the Fed starts to go cryptic on us. The things that they're going to do, they include support for critical market functioning. The FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, will purchase Treasury securities and agency. Okay, we know this already. Previously, it would purchase at least 500 billion of Treasury securities and at least 200 billion of mortgage-backed securities. In addition, the FOMC will include purchases of agency commercial mortgage-backed securities in its agency mortgage-backed security phrases. So again, this is just 2008 happening all over again, but multiples larger. Also supporting the flow of credit. The Fed is going to provide up to 300 billion in new financing. The Department of the Treasury, Department of Treasury, using the Exchange Stabilization Fund, they're going to provide 30 billion in equity to these facilities. And getting more cryptic, the primary market corporate credit facility, PMCCF, for the new bond and loan issuance, and the secondary market corporate credit facility, SMCCF, to provide liquidity for outstanding corporate bonds. Again, my take on this is it's going back into this whole CLO fiasco thing that we've been talking about for a while. Corporate, they're in trouble. They need help. They're in big trouble right now. Establishment of a third facility, the term asset-backed securities loan facility, always getting cryptic. The TELF will enable the issuance of asset-backed securities backed by student loans, auto loans, credit card loans, loans guaranteed. Let me just highlight these. Auto loans, student loans, credit card loans, loans guaranteed by the Small Business Administration, and certain other assets. Everyone's getting money thrown at them here. Facilitating the flow of credit to municipalities. So now it's your local city governments, city and county governments. Money Market Mutual Fund Liquidity Facility, MMLF. We went over this the other week as well. Wider range of securities, including municipal variable rate demand notes and bank securities of deposit. And then the commercial paper funding facility to include high quality tax exempt commercial paper as eligible securities. It's they are going to continue to find anything and everything that they can. So that's why when guys ask what's up with the Fed, I think nobody knows, to be honest, anymore. They are just doing way too many things for any of us to try and keep track of. Without a doubt, without a doubt. Pavar McLeod from Gold Money said we may get a new monetary system by year's end. Any comments? Well, I mean, if you guys been following, you know that I've been talking about CBDC, central bank digital currencies. It's no secret. Central banks have made it known that this is what they're working on. The World Health Organization has made it known that cash is can be contributing to the spread of the virus. So, when you put those two things together, they're already setting the stage that, yes, a new monetary system is on the way, and it probably is going to be some type of digital or digital ledger technology based type of central bank digital currency. So everything's up on that blockchain. So, if you were always planning on getting out of the banking system and things like that, I think it's going to be very difficult now. It's going to be very difficult now to stay out of that banking system, because if we don't have the cash and we can only buy things according to this, central bank digital currency and with this blockchain of sorts keeping track of everything, extremely, it's beyond difficult. It's now becoming impossible. It's becoming impossible to stay out of the tentacles of the Fed and every other central bank. I'm scrambling as well, trying to figure out ways that you can kind of maneuver around these things. But he's saying this year. I'm not sure if it'll be this year, but it's going to happen. I mean, I guess I don't want to stick my neck out and give a sort of a date or anything, but I think as this pandemic circles the globe once and goes around the globe again twice, you're going to see it. At some point it's going to have to come out. So, that's his date. My date is I'm uncertain, but I wholeheartedly believe this is what's going to end up happening. They are going to bring in their central bank digital currency. Let's see. Lord Humongous, keep stacking if you can. Absolutely. I know it's getting hard to find the physical gold and silver, but if you can, keep stacking as best you can. So I'm going to move on to that the interview with Savannah Guthrie. So I broke it up into different segments. I think there's 7 segments or so. So let's start with one of those segments.
Congress is not alone in stepping up to try and rescue this economy. The Federal Reserve, the nation's central bank, is taking emergency measures to help businesses and Americans alike, cutting interest rates, buying up hundreds of billions of dollars of debt, and offering trillions in loans to banks. And joining us now in a rare and exclusive live interview is Jerome Powell, who is chairman of the Federal Reserve. Mr. Chairman, good morning to you. It's good to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you, Savannah.
Well, the Federal Reserve doesn't exactly print money, but as one writer put it, you do have the ability to conjure money out of thin air. My question to you is simple. Is there any limit to the amount of money the Fed is willing to put into this economy to keep it afloat? Is it a blank check?
Savannah, we, in certain circumstances like the present, we do have the ability to essentially use our emergency lending authorities. And the only limit on that will be how much backstop we get from the Treasury Department. We're required to get full security for our loans so that we don't lose money. And so the Treasury puts up money as we estimate what the losses might be. But essentially, the answer to your question, though, is no. We can continue to make loans, and really the point of all that is to support the flow of credit in the economy to households and businesses.
But, so you're saying, no, it's not a blank check, but yes, you're prepared to spend an unprecedented amount.
We certainly are. It's not a blank check in the sense that we are limited by the ability to take losses, but I would say that the number, effectively $1 of loss absorption of backstop from Treasury is enough to support $10 worth of loans. So really, the answer is what's happened is all over the world, investors have pulled back to very less risky things. That's understandable. But what that's meant is that many places in the capital markets, which support borrowing by households and businesses, I'm talking about mortgages and car loans and things like that, have just stopped working. So we can step in and replace that lending under our emergency lending powers, and we will do that. We will look wherever there is in the capital markets where credit is not flowing. We have the ability in this unique circumstance to temporarily step in and provide those loans, and we will keep doing that aggressively and forthrightly as we have been.
Okay, so question, does the Fed have the ability to conjure money out from thin air? I saw those comments there. You guys are a smart bunch, man. An angry, smart bunch. Conjure money out of thin air, a blank check. Jerome Powell, Fed has the ability to use emergency lending authorities. Only limit is how much backstop they get from the Treasury Department, and we know that's going to be unlimited. Required to get full security for their loans. It's not a blank check. I saw RR with that Pinocchio nose emoji. Yes, it's not a blank check. Mortgages, car loans have stopped working. Wherever credit is not flowing, the Fed will step in. Mortgages, car loans have stopped working. That and we saw that's one of the things that the Fed is doing, where they're supporting student loans, auto loans. They're into mortgage-backed securities once again. They're all over the place. They are all over the place, and those tentacles from the Fed octopus, they're reaching everywhere. So I'm going to have to take a look at some of your comments, because you guys were spot on. Yes, it's that purple tie again. RR with the Pinocchio nose. Absolutely. Let's see what else is out there. Let's see. Greenspan has already said they can print whatever you want, but can't guarantee the purchasing power. Ding, 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 ding. That's a winner. That's a winner, my friend. They can print. They can print and print and print. They can slide those digital numbers into your account, but can't guarantee the purchasing power. And I think this is where some guys are getting concerned about the inflation and getting out of hand into hyperinflation. Some guys are still talking depression. I think we still got the room to go with this depression, but I think it's going to be like a rubber band. You're going to go down into that depression, and it's just going to fly right back up, and things going to be out of control at that point. So again, for you guys who are holding gold and silver, you guys know it's not about price, and we've been talking about this for a while. It is not about the price. I mean, maybe just a little, but it's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more that gold and silver are meant to do, and you guys are fully aware of that. Let's see. Michael sounds like he's talking about Bill Holter's credit freeze. Some guys have said that credit freeze. I think Jim Rickers has even used the word ICE 9. It's, and I think they were heading to their credit freeze, which is why the Fed again had to step in, or the credit lockdown of sorts. So, the Fed is scrambling. So like I was saying, we got two different things going on. Yes, we got the virus, people trying to stay well. Do what you need to do, because the last thing you want to do is inundate the healthcare workers where, there's not enough beds, there's not enough respirators, ventilators. Take care of yourself. I mean, I said this before, where taking care of me is taking care of you. So for you guys, taking care of yourself It's taking care of the rest of us. So take care of yourself. There's only so many beds. There's only so many ventilators for the people that really need the help. So if you really want to help, take care of yourself. That's the best thing you can do. Take care of yourself. Okay, moving on. Um, William William Cruz. What the heck? I'll just say it. William Cruz. Don't pee on our legs and tell us it's raining. Haven't heard that one in a while, my friend. Haven't heard that in a while for sure. Uh, let's see. Jim Rickards, Ice Nine credit for yeah. It's he made a point about that a few years back, and I've been trying to reach out to him and ask him if he could come in and talk to us about that again. Um, let's see. Susan Klein, he who survives this false flag. Okay, call it some people are saying yeah, and holds gold and silver is the winner. Godspeed. Thank you, Suzanne. Same to you. Godspeed. Um, Cry freedom. Why spot silver is not going up? Don't worry about that. Cry freedom. I mean, we already know what is going to go on with the spot price. More importantly, is what's going on with the physical price. Spot price is it's really it's getting laughable at this point. It's getting laughable because I can tell you when I spoke to Gregor, the founder of Silver Bullion, serious money is being poured into silver and gold right now. A lot of serious money. Average customer is and we're going to release this later anyway. So average customer is 30, $40,000 per order. So it's serious. Money is moving into to silver and gold, and these guys are paying the higher premium. Everyone is paying the higher premiums. Uh, Me too. If I want to go and buy silver and gold, I'm not getting a break either. I have to pay those higher premiums. So it's all across the board. So that spot price getting less and less relevant. I mean, it's just sort of a base number, but the real true number of, if you want to get physical, it's far above that. So it's far above that. LLD, are you wearing pants? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. You guys can take a vote. We can do a poll on that. We can do a poll on that later on, huh? Okay, it's gone up $20. It's going up. Physical is going up without a doubt. Um, let's see. Reports all over say hospitals are nowhere near capacity yet. They're building mass units as well. That's true. I'm seeing parking lots, parking garages, malls. In some cases, they're having to use these areas. So we'll see what's going on with that. And so when the Fed says, they basically they can print and this and that and this and that, then we come across articles like this where for the first time, the Fed balance sheet tops 5 trillion as it enters coronavirus war mode. So again, we have these two parallel things going on that are intersecting at different places, different times, different places. From Reuters, U.S. Federal Reserve's balance sheet soared past 5 trillion in assets for the first time this week as it scooped up bonds and extended loans to banks, mutual funds, and other central banks in its unprecedented effort to backstop the economy in the face of the global coronavirus pandemic. Fed's total balance sheet size exploded by more than half a trillion dollars in a single week, roughly twice the pace of the next largest weekly expansion in the financial crisis. As of Wednesday last week, Fed stash of assets totaled 5.3 trillion. So I just want to take a quick look at that Fed balance sheet and see where we're at with it. I mean, we first talked about this V formation thing, then we talked about a hockey stick type of a thing, and there you go. This is where we are at in history, because this is a point in history where we're going to look back, we're going to remember this time, and this is where we're at, 5 trillion plus. They started to taper back here, 4.4 trillion. They went down. President Trump tell them, "What are you guys doing? You guys are going to hurt the economy." And about here, we've seen this whole September repo business started coming back up, and now here we are. So, this is pretty it's just amazing what's going on right now. How are you supposed to read this? How are you supposed to find true price discovery? I think it's pretty much impossible at this point. Very, very impossible. But getting back to that interview, here's where they spoke about economy and the employment.
The president has said he would like to see the country raring to go by Easter. He wants the country back open. Public health experts have resisted that timeline. Can the economy handle a months-long shutdown if that is what the public health emergency requires and demands?
Well, this is a unique situation. So I think people need to understand this is not a typical downturn. What's happening here is people are being asked to close their businesses, to stay home from work, and to not engage in certain kinds of economic activity. And so they're pulling back. And at a certain point, we will get the spread of the virus under control. And at that time, confidence will return, businesses will open again, people will come back to work. So you may well see significant rises in unemployment, significant declines in economic activity. But there can also be a good rebound on the other side of that. And that's actually one of the main things we're trying to do by assuring the flow of credit in the economy and keeping rates low, is to assure that rebound, when it does come, is as vigorous as possible.
Yeah, I know. Fed is getting a little bit more difficult to listen to. That purple tie, man, I tell you, really, you guys are onto it. Um, so, can the economy handle a months-long shutdown? Month is a long time, especially for guys, who are out there going paycheck to paycheck. I think a month is long for any of us. Um, Powell says it's a unique situation, not a typical downturn, and there is truth in that. I mean, it's not a typical downturn where everybody's still working and, the circumstances are normal. And then there's a downturn. In this case, it's not the typical downturn as he said. At a certain point, the virus will be under control. That is true. But when and how much damage is it going to do to our monetary system? Confidence will return. Um, I'm not so sure on that. I think confidence is going to be more lost, and I think it may never return. To be truthful, I think as we go on, confidence will start to erode more and more and more. That's just the way that's just my take on it. Until then, unemployment will rise. We are going to see that where we talked about, that on that chart we looked at. I think that is going to be the base of the new norm. Um, for a while anyway. And there will be a good rebound. I'm not so sure. And I'll get into that a bit later. And we are assuring that the rebound will be as vigorous as possible. They're throwing everything at it. They're trying their best right now. But I'm gonna say this. You cannot have a good economy, or you can't have a healthy economy if you have a population that's not healthy. It's just not going to work. If you have a healthy population, you have a chance of having a healthy economy. But if you have unhealthy population, forget it. You're never going to get that healthy economy. So what does that tell you? Population comes first. Take care of the people first, because that healthy population is what's going to bring in that healthy economy. And hopefully the Fed won't erode too much of that confidence and trust, because I think they're really I mean, I understand they're trying to do what they can do to help people. I get it. I understand that, but I think in the end, I think a lot of people are just not going to want to have anything to do with the Fed or the central bank, if they can at all get out of it or away from it. So, want to take a look at that one article about the employment, since that's what he's talking about here. This is from the Guardian. Record 3.3 Americans filed for unemployment as the U.S. tries to contain COVID-19. Labor Department figures show the number of claims rose to 3.3 million, beating the previous record of 695,000 in October. It dwarfed it. It just completely dwarfed that number. So again, a lot of people filed unemployment in the U.S. last week as the pandemic shut down large parts of America's economy, and the full scale of the impact of the crisis began to emerge. Keyword began. We're still in the beginning. I don't think um, we're anywhere near starting to plateau. No, we're nowhere near. So experts warned of a catastrophic unemployment crisis after the Labor Department announced jobless claims filed by individuals seeking unemployment benefits rose by more than 3 million to 3.28 million from 281,000 previous week. So again, this is what that chart we looked at earlier that was on the Twitter feed. So here's where we are. This this might be the base for all of this. All of these numbers, cut it, paste it up here, and go forward. This might be the new norm for a while the virus continues on. Um, that's just my take on it. I don't see any relief coming soon because again, for me, a healthy population will bring a healthy economy. You can't try and make that economy healthy when your population's not healthy. It's just not going to work. I mean, I think that's kind of like a common sense thing, right? But hey, I'm not an academic, right? I'll leave it to those guys. Um, let's see. Uh, hold on to your goal, John T. Absolutely. Let's see. Fergie, Oliver, Dent may be right on paper, but not physical world. Yeah, I didn't see the content of this conversation, but yeah, Harry Dent, he's been calling for sub 1,000 gold for a while. I guess, like you said, he may get that paper spot price of it, but physical price, no, it's not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be up. It's gonna be up. Let's see. Amir, mines are shut down, jewelry stores are shut down, and gold delivery by plane demand hasn't even kicked in yet. You know what, Amir? I'd have to agree with that. I mean, I think we are seeing demand, the very, very front part of demand. There's still a long way to go. A lot more people are gonna be wanting in, and you hit it right where these planes, they're shut down. You could stuff a plane full of gold and fly it. Silver a bit more difficult because it does take up more space than gold. And even if you're going to do it price wise, ratio wise, it definitely takes up a lot more space than gold. So I think for silver, you're going to have to be looking at shipping, um, ocean. It's going to have to go by ocean, and it's going to be causing some delays. And again, compounded with miners and refiners, maybe not working or on lockdown, it's going to be some delays, without a doubt. And the longer it takes, I think, you're going to see more people pile in, you know. Um, but I do think you're going to see that. Let's see. Bull Pony, yeah, I saw Bull on Greg Hunter. If you can watch Greg Hunter, he's Greg's got it together. He's got really good guests. Bull Pony, he was making some pretty bold, bold predictions. Um, I'm not gonna say he's wrong. I'm not gonna say he's right. I'm just gonna say thank you for sticking your neck out and at least making people aware of things, whether or not it pans out how you say it or how Bold Pony says it. It's another thing, but at least it's something for us to consider, something else to look at. So I give him credit for that. So let's see what else is out there. Um, let's see. I can carry 20 silver eagles fine. Yeah, carry it. Keep some on you. Keep some on you, and again, keep some away from you as well. You just don't know what's going to happen. That may be your store of value, your wealth, store of wealth. So you may not want to keep that on you. You may want to keep it in a different, safer location. So I mean, just something again, something again to think about. Lyle Budd, Jesus is coming back. Could be the season. I'm hearing that also. I'm hearing it could be the season. Um, let's just all get right. We need to get right with a lot of things. So let's just all get right. Ian, gold to the moon. Physical, yeah, absolutely. Spot price, I'm not sure what they're doing with that. I think they just want to try and hold the price down as long as they can because if larger investors start to see gold price moving, I mean, what do you do? They're going to start to leave the other markets and go into commodities, go into gold, go into silver, and then what happens? When you got the Fed trying to keep the markets afloat, and then people are bailing at the same time. I mean, it's kind of how things are, I guess. Anyway, right? These zombie businesses. Um, I think that's just where we are right now. There's a lot of fantasy, a lot of fantasy going on. Um, so another part of the interview, Paul was asked if we're in a recession. So I want to play that clip for you.
As you well know, a recession is a technical term. It means 2 straight quarters of negative growth. We've already had 1 quarter. Put it bluntly, do you think we are already in recession? Do you think it is inevitable that we will be in recession?
We may well be in a recession, but again, I would point to the difference between this and a normal recession. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with our economy. Quite the contrary. The economy performed very well right through February. We've got 50-year low in unemployment for the last couple of years. So we start in a very strong position. This isn't something that's wrong with the economy. This is a situation where people are being asked to step back from economic activity, close their businesses, stay home from work. So in principle, if we get the virus spread under control fairly quickly, then economic activity can resume. And we want to make that rebound as vigorous as possible.
Okay, so does the technical term really matter at this point? Is it or is the recession inevitable? And I mean, you guys have been following this channel. You know that it seems like the Fed is trying to they they will not let a recession happen, and we're already at zero. So I think this is why you're seeing the Fed go all out because I do not think they want this to go below zero. And we've been saying whenever you get into that recession, you need about 4 percentage points or so to try and get back out of the recession, and they just don't have the room. So I think he's going all in now. But we may well be in a recession. Jerome Powell's words, not a normal recession. What? Okay. People are being asked to disengage. That is true, though. Okay, we got to give him that. That's true, and he wants the rebound to be as vigorous as possible. I mean, I get it. I understand that. I think all of you guys get it. You understand that part as well. But when he says things like the economy was good up until February, you got to go back. I mean, repo market cracked last year, September. They were already in trouble September. And I think in the end, as Thomas Malinas, one of our guests, he had said, when we look back at this in history, we're going to see that September, when that repo market cracked, that was the beginning. That was the beginning that signaled everything when it first leaked that we were in huge trouble. So when we look back in time, that September, mid-September point probably could be maybe that point where it all started. Okay, getting to some of your questions here. Let's see. Will Dow get to 15,000 this week? Tough, tough, tough question. I mean, this week or not, it's going to go down. That's for sure. It may get a bounce back up, but after a while, I think people are just going to throw in the towel already and say, you know what, this is too much. It's just unbelievable at this point, and they're going to get out. I think they may try to ride it up a bit, but I think in the end, guys are just they understand. It's dead. There's no other way to put it. It's dead. Lord Humongous, how much silver you got? Not enough. Not enough, my friend. I've said before, some guys they take the position where 1,000 ounces of silver is my target, 5,000 is my target, and then they'll stop and then they'll move on. For me, ever since day one, I've never got into silver as an investment. I've got into it because this is something I need to accumulate to have my own sort of money, and that's the position I've always held. So when prices go down, I'm okay. When prices go up, I kind of want it to come back down, because I still need to accumulate. So, I mean, for me or for guys that are accumulating because this is their insurance, there's no target. We will just keep buying and buying and buying. So, can't exactly tell you, but I can tell you that I do buy for sure, absolutely. Let's see. So I want to get back to part of that interview where he says we're in a recession, and then I found this article from excuse me, Alan Blinder. I'm not sure. Depends on his opinion if we're going to call him Blinder or Blinder, right? So anyway, he says the U.S. is probably already in a recession. So economist Alan Blinder, sorry about that, told CNBC that the economy probably already is in a recession. The cause is fear of shopping and being in public businesses that include face-to-face contact. I'm not so sure about that. Blinder advocated government paid sick leave for impacted workers and the payroll tax holiday. Um, okay, he has some good points here. He says, again, we're already in a recession. And he goes on to say, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if when we look back at the data, it is decided that the recession started in March, meaning this year. Um, it may start in March, but I'm looking at this whole thing starting back in September, at least September. So Blinder, former Federal Reserve Vice Chairman, so there's his credential. Former Federal Reserve Vice Chairman and now a professor at Princeton told CNBC's Squawk Alley, we won't know that. It takes months to get the data that would be relevant to a call like that, but it would not be a bit surprising to me. Now, while a recession is often defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth, there are other measures such as a dramatic change in the unemployment rate, which we see, that is also considered. Ultimately, the National Bureau of Economic Research is the arbiter. The Great Recession was deemed to have started in December 2007, but the NBER didn't declare it until a year later. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they just need to label it a recession, and then it'll officially be a recession. But I think most of us we already know. You know, it's been here, it's been growing. I mean, Fed dropping interest rates. Again, what happened in the repo market, having to throw money, basically, you know, take over every form of debt. It's already on. You know, recession button is started a long time ago. And some guys will tell you it was even back in 2007, 2008. We've never got out of that. And again, which is why some guys feel that, you know, the market has lost all of Trump's gains. It still has to take care of Obama's gains, meaning the QE that happened during Obama's terms. It still needs to adjust and account for all that QE as well. So some guys are even, you know, saying market's going to go down below 10,000. You know, once you account for QE1, which needs to still needs to be addressed. You know, these things just haven't been taken care of. So we'll see what happens with that as well. So back to your questions and comments. Let's see. Thomas Wilhelm, probably in a recession, is like the people probably not going on a cruise ship. Isn't it amazing? These cruise ships are still going, right? I mean, as from what I've seen, you know, it's I think it's amazing. Irresponsible. I'll just use that word. It's my opinion, but that's what I feel it's at. Um, so again, you know, so we talked about, you know, this recession and whatnot, and then the question was put forward to Jerome Powell. Well, can we bounce back?
Yeah, a lot of people say that after a recession like this, you could see a big bounce back. We didn't see that in 2008. You know, it wasn't like the average recession where you see a drop and then you see a big bounce back. It was a slow and sluggish, uncertain recovery after 2008. But I think I hear you saying that once this public health issue is resolved, you expect a robust bounce back.
What I'm really saying is we don't know. And the sooner we get through this period and get the virus under control, the sooner the recovery can come. There's no other, we don't have comparable experiences to go back and look at. We know that economic activity will decline probably substantially in the second quarter. But I think many expect, and I would expect the economic activity to resume and move back up in the second half of the year. Very hard to say precisely when that will be, and it will really depend on the spread of the virus. The virus is going to dictate the timetable here.
Corona Twitch. I'm reading your guys' comments here, huh? So no big bounce in 2008. We did not see that. Why should we expect to see it now? We didn't see it back then, right? So Powell says we really do not know. So there you go. We really do not know. No comparable experience to look at. Economy will decline substantially in Q2. Expect economic activity to resume this year. Virus will dictate the timetable. We do not know. True. No comparable experience to look at. Well, if the Fed, if 2008 happened the way it was naturally supposed to happen, and more or less it was it was taken care of the way the market would have taken care of it, they would have a comparable experience to look at. So I'm totally disagree with him there. 2008 needed to happen. They did not let it happen, and this is why we are where we are today. Really, it's a lot of it has to do with that. So when he says no comparable experience to look at, that's the reason why the Fed did not let 2008 play out the way it was supposed to have played out. Economy will decline substantially in Q2. I think we all know that. He's not giving us any new bits of information there. Will resume this year. Economic activity will resume this year. I think it's going to depend where you're at, where on your location. In some ways, it's going to depend where you're at, and again, it's going to depend on the health of the people because, again, my wholehearted belief: if you do not have a healthy population, you cannot have a healthy economy unless you're all AI and robots or something like that. It's just no way. The people are the economy, and if the people are sick, the economy is going to be sick. It it can be the other way around. You can have healthy people and a bad economy. That's true. But if the people aren't healthy, you can't have a healthy economy. It's just not going to work that way. And the virus will dictate the timetable. Absolutely. So this is again where, for me, I'm getting a mixed message where the virus dictates the timetable, but you're expecting it to resume this year. You're forgetting about the people, and this is the part that's irritating. They continuously forget about the people. I mean, I know they're helping people, but when you use words like this, you expect the activity to resume. The virus dictates the timetable. It's the health of the people, and it's been said. So everyone try and remember these words. The virus cannot move on its own. The virus can only move if people move. That's how it gets around. If people move, the virus moves. If people don't move, the virus does not move. So, it all depends on what local municipalities or governments are doing. But I think that's the simple truth. People move, virus moves. People don't move, virus does not move. I mean, can't get any simpler than that, right? I mean, if there's another way, someone let me know. But anyway, it's just my opinion about that. Um, so taking a look at again your questions and comments here. Let's see. Zimbabwe has some quality gold mines. They do. I think they do. I mean, I've seen things before where guys were actually going down to by the rivers to pan for gold just to get enough to eat bread, things like that. Um, okay, so let's see. Amir, 18 months until vaccine. We'll see. I mean, let's just get people healthy. Let's just take care of that first. I mean, obviously central banks don't have a problem printing money, so get the people healthy first, and then whatever it takes, just go ahead and throw your money at it later. But people, they're what count. I mean, you can count all the money you want, but I'd rather count all the good people that I can. That's more important for me anyway. I think for you as well. Um, let's see. Jacques Bourne, did China cancel 21 million cell phone accounts for non-payment? I've seen reports on that where one service provider anyway lost some 8 million subscribers. So that led to a lot of speculation. Um, But again, it's all pure speculation as to why you would lose 8 million subscribers. And that was just one company reporting. There, I think there are at least three, and the other two I don't think have come out yet. So you know, you're going to get some truths. You're not going to get some truths. You're going to get half truths. I mean, you got to filter through it. Just filter through it as best you can. I know it's easy to try and take news to fit whatever narrative we might have, but try and keep a good baseline and try not to follow any one particular narrative if at all you can, because that is going to influence you to think a certain way. And we're all being influenced. We're all being pulled every which way we can right now. Um, so just try and keep a cool, clear head and look at things and just dissect it as best as you can. We're going to have different opinions for sure, but try and dissect it as best you can. Um, so then Paul was asked about, is there a long term risk to all this money printing, maybe even inflation?
When we see some of the actions that the Federal Reserve has been taking, and they're extraordinary and in some cases unprecedented, I think some people will feel really kind of relieved and heartened, and others might feel a little worried. What are the risks associated with taking some of these bold actions, pumping so much money into the economy? I mean, one issue, of course, would be worrying about inflation. Is there a long-term risk to the actions being taken now?
We don't really see that. What we see, though, is small, medium, and large businesses are not able to borrow through their normal channels to some extent. And so we step in and replace that. That's a very healthy thing. That's a positive thing. We're providing relief. We're providing stability to get us. We're trying to create a bridge from our very strong economy to another place of economic strength. And that's what our lending really does. It's very broad. It's across small, medium, and large businesses. We are already helping state and local governments, and just places where credit is not being offered where it should be offered, where it's really just a question of liquidity and credit availability. We can step in and make that happen, and that's a very positive thing and an appropriate thing to do in this highly unusual situation we're in.
Okay, so is there a long-term risk to the Fed's actions? Was the question. Response: we don't see it. We don't see it. You can throw all this money out there, stimulate everything, but nah, we don't see any inflation. All right. It's healthy and positive. To some degree, what other choice did they have? I mean, people are going to need help, right? So to some degree, okay, I'll accept that. We're providing relief and stability. We're helping state and local governments, but will we see inflation? That's the main part. So what do you guys have to say about that? That's what's most important. And I saw one of you guys, you're asking, where's Batman? Batman is here. You guys already know what's in this Pez container. If you don't know, 1 gram pieces of gold, they do fit perfectly into Batman's or a Pez container. So just sharing that with you guys so we can have a little bit of humor here. If you got to really get out of town like those New Yorkers, grab your Pez and stuff it with some gold and change your license plate. That's the only advice I can give you, right? So do what you got to do. Do what you have to do. Okay, so yeah, this purple tie again. But I mean, do you guys think there's going to be inflation out of this? Because again, this all goes into the reasons why we are buying silver and gold. We are getting these things as a hedge to inflation. We are getting these things as a wealth storage vehicle. I mean, it's more than just the money. I mean, or the price, I should say. But when Jerome Powell talks about not seeing inflation and things, I don't know about that. I see it at some point. It has to kick in, for sure. Conway, Yuri, hyperinflation will be coming. I agree. Cam Pod, stuck on Long Island. Stay safe, my man. Do what you need to do to stay safe. Do what you need to do to stay safe. Lyle Budd, are the paper markets reflecting the shortages, or will they ever? Paper markets, I think they're under. I can't assume, but gold and silver are there. It's just that it's not moving and it's just that it's not moving to where it can be delivered. So it's a separate thing from saying, it's not there. It is there. It's just that it's not moving. So, I mean, it's kind of same but different, as people like to say, but nonetheless, there's a shortage in the market. Trying to buy physical is getting more increasingly difficult. That's for sure. Let's see. Again, Victor Claudio, yeah, that quote, we can provide unlimited cash, but we cannot guarantee its purchasing power. Absolutely, absolutely true. And then, Fed head Jerome Powell was asked point blank, will the Fed run out of ammo?
The other issue that comes up is whether or not you might run out of ammo, run out of bullets. And to that point, are you sorry that you didn't raise interest rates a little more when the economy was strong so you'd have more cushion now?
When it comes to this lending, we're not going to run out of ammunition. That doesn't happen. We set the interest rates in time at what we think is the right, giving the economy the right level of support. If we'd raised interest rates more, it would have been higher than we thought, and economic growth would have been a little bit slower. So it wouldn't have mattered in the end. So we really are always setting our interest rates at the level we think is appropriate. And we've cut them to zero now. We still have policy room in other dimensions to support the economy. But the main thing we're doing now is really with our lending programs. That's the principal thing we're doing now to support the economy is through that channel.
Okay, Lord Humongous, take it easy, my man. Thanks for stopping by. So there you go. Should interest rates have been higher when the economy was stronger? They tried, right? But Jerome Powell says they will not run out of ammo. They will not run out of ammo. Rising rates would not have mattered, and other dimensions to support the economy. That part, it's so open-ended. What do you guys think these other dimensions are? Well, what are these other dimensions? Next week, when I look at the Fed press release, are we going to see new tools that are invented that are being used? I think probably. Maybe these are the other dimensions that he's talking about that we just don't know yet. But what do you guys think about that? The Fed they won't run out, will not run out of ammo. So Mick, being used, that ammo on let's hope doesn't get to that. They use the words ammo and bullets. Okay, yeah. Okay. The Pez Reserve, yes. Get yourself some Pez and create your own Pez Reserve. Always good to have handy, right? So let's see what else is there. Twilight Zone, absolutely, absolutely. They will start buying assets in a roundabout way. They have been. I believe the New York Fed is not allowed to buy equities anyway, straight up, like the way Bank of Japan is doing. But I think they're going to legislate to change that, and things are really going to change. Without a doubt. Let's see. Mike Maloney, Hidden Secrets of Money, episode 7 does have a lot of similarities to his predictions from 2016. Mike, he's done a great job. I would say at least maybe 90% of us here we've probably watched at least 1 through 4, Hidden Secrets 1 through 4. He does a good job. I think Mike has probably done more than anyone else to get people to wake up and understand silver and gold. So Mike, thank you for that. He's done a great job, really really good job. So let's see. Fed is a sideshow to exactly what's really going on with the economy. Yeah, Weme, it's just tough because a lot of us we simply don't understand it, and it's not that we're not intelligent or anything like that. It's just that the terms and the words and sometimes even the math involved, and it's not an easy thing to understand, and a lot of times it takes years. It does take years to try and understand it, and still you don't fully understand it. You may understand half of what they're saying or a quarter of what they're saying, 75% of what they're saying, but to understand it 100% of the time, I think there's really just a few people that really do understand it 100% of the time. It's a difficult thing, very very difficult thing. Um, okay, is he wearing red shoes? Maybe, who knows? But then the question was asked where is the cure worse than the disease? Meaning, what they're doing right now, is this going to end up being worse than the virus itself?
The issue, though, that's been sort of raised in these recent days is the cure worse than the disease? Is shutting down the economy for the sake of public health doing lasting damage to the economy that may not be recoverable? So I guess you're not a doctor, you're an economist, but where do you come down on that debate? Is it better to solve the public health crisis and then let the economy bounce back? Or do you think we should rush into opening the economy back up because, frankly, the damage being done is worse?
So that, of course, is not, we're not an expert. We're not experts in pandemics over here. We don't get to make that decision. I would say, though, that we would tend to listen to the experts. Dr. Fauci said something like the virus is going to set the timetable, and that sounds right to me. I think the sooner we get the spread of the virus under control, people will regain confidence. When they become confident that is the case, then they will very willingly open their businesses up, go back to work. The consumer will be spending. So I think the first order of business will be to get the spread of the virus under control and then resume economic activity.
Yeah. So again, I think it's a little bit could be a little bit backwards, but I do understand where he's coming from. So he was asked, is the cure worse than the disease? Again, the virus is going to set the timetable, and again, virus first, economic activity second. We're going to have to see how they play this thing out. But to me, it's more like, throw everything you can at this, and we cannot have both a sick economy and a sick population. Both need to be healthy. More importantly, I think it's the people that need to be healthy. But I did find this interesting article. I think a lot of you have been seeing bits and pieces on this, and it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling what this article is about to say. Again, I think most of you have already caught wind of this. So this is from Yahoo Finance. The Fed's cure risks being worse than the disease. So let's just go through this. Economic debate of the day centers on whether the cure of an economic shutdown is worse than the disease of the virus. Let me pass through a little bit more. So these are some things that they're doing. The CPFF, PMCCF, TALF. The Fed has gone cryptic on us, so they're talking about all of these things. And to put it bluntly, the Fed isn't allowed to do any of this. The central bank is only allowed to purchase or lend against securities that the government guarantees, which is even what Jerome Powell had said in the beginning, that their backstop is treasuries. This includes treasury securities, agency mortgage-backed securities, and the debt issued by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. An argument can be made that can also include municipal securities, but nothing in the laundry list above, all those alphabets that we saw. So how can they do this? The Fed will finance a special purpose vehicle. This should start to ring a bell. We've heard this before. For each acronym to conduct these operations, the Treasury is using the Exchange Stabilization Fund that will make an equity investment in each SPV and be in a first loss position. So they're finding a way to go into equity investments. What does it mean? In essence, the Treasury, not the Fed, is buying all these securities and backstopping of loans. The Fed is acting as the banker and providing financing. The Fed hired BlackRock Inc. This is where it gets interesting. They hired BlackRock to purchase these securities and handle the administration of the SPVs on behalf of the owner, the Treasury. In other words, hang in there. In other words, the federal government is monetizing large swaths of the financial markets. The Fed is providing the money to do it. BlackRock will be doing the trades. Here you go. This scheme essentially merges the Fed and Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald Trump. There's more to it, but what I'll do is I'll copy that article. I'll paste it for you, and you guys can go ahead and you can read the rest of it on on your own. But an interesting statement nonetheless, right? He said the scheme essentially merges the Fed and Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald J. Trump. I'm laughing because never would I have imagined something like this. The way it's worded, it just it seems surreal. I mean, how is this really true? Sometimes humor is your best defense. You gotta just have a little bit of a laugh at things nowadays, right? So no making fun of it, no taking this thing light, but we still need to absorb it and figure this thing out. Um, what say you? Want to see what you guys say? Donald J. Trump, your new Fed chairman. What do you think about that? Um, BlackRock is criminal. Their history is shady. Shady, definitely. Let's see. Silver Stallion. With recent changes in the past decades and new Trump's executive rules, allows the Fed to do as they please to stabilize all markets, not just debt markets. Yeah, we're seeing the Fed octopus. I mean, as mentioned earlier, they're reaching in everything. They're in your home already. They are in your home at this point. Definitely in your home. Um, Hail Silver Stallion. Hail King Trump. Well, I think you're going to get 50% of the people who like it and 50% who don't. But again, we're just going to have to see how this plays out. Pooled an art of the deal move, Timothy Mack. We'll see. We'll really see how all this plays out. But you know, it was a pretty interesting opinion anyway of that author to place that out there, and I've been seeing it many places on Twitter. Guys have been throwing that out there. So whether there's some truth to it or not, we're going to see as things go by. And so we talked about this whole Fed stimulus bill where they're throwing money out there, and then the one thing that they're kind of silent on, and I put this out in the community with this with an item in the bill. I want to put this out there. You guys in our community groups, you know already what this is, where the virus stimulus offered by the House Financial Services Committee, or the bill anyway, committee creates a new digital dollar, and we talked about this quite a bit. Um, so this is from last week. The final version of the economic stimulus package offered by the House includes the digital dollar proposal. However, the language as proposed by the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee still contains this language. Links to the original and updated stimulus bill with the latest language are at the end of the story. Goes on to say, hang on, let me see if I can spread this out. This is well, guess not. Um, so as the markets continue to drop and the U.S. looks to Congress for agreement on a massive stimulus package to save the economy from impacts of the coronavirus pandemic, the newest offer by House Democrats includes a very forward-looking kind of stimulus, the creation of a digital dollar and the establishment of digital dollar wallets, in what will send shockwaves through the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry, particularly for those following central bank digital currencies around the world. This signals the U.S. is serious in establishing infrastructure for a central bank digital currency. And we've also gone over this, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. So now they're talking about digital wallets. Um, where are we going? Really, where are we going from here? So what say you? Um, let's see. USA Corporation Incorporated is bankrupt. Michael Mona. Uh, let's see. House of Corco. So last time I got a stimulus check, Bush made me return it in taxes. End of that same year. Yeah, I mean, I need to read through this bill. I think it's like 100 and something pages. It's pretty long. It's pretty long. Who knows what they're hiding in there? Who knows? Um, okay, so let's see. Anything else in here? Comments? Let me check one more time. Mick, can hardly wait for my new digital wallet. Well, I guess one of the good things is, like myself, I forgot it in my pants pocket last week and it went through the wash. So at least don't need to worry about your wallets going through the wash anymore. There's one good thing to say about it. But anyway, it seems to be, that's these are the areas where we're headed. So I just want to offer up a few comments before we head out. Really, what sense do we make of this? Sick economy, sick population. Both in time, they're going to get better. In time, they will be better. Population might build an immunity to this disease, but will the Fed and will politicians, the government, central banks, can they heal the economy? Is it theirs to heal? Can they ever grow to be immune from, I'll just say the word, this stupidity that's going on, or be perpetually sick from this cancer eating away at their common sense? Are they really smarter than you and I? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what your definition of smart is. Although I do know one thing, you and I have common sense, and that is way more than enough. We have the common sense to see what is going on and the smarts to act on it. We know real money, we know what is sound money, and we know sound money and real money are the answer. The insurance for the calamity that may be around the corner about to come is gold and silver. I urge you, I mean, this is not financial advice, professional or otherwise, it's just an opinion, but I urge you, if you have not taken up a position in gold and silver, do not wait any longer. We're seeing shortages, we're seeing delays. Do not wait any longer. Don't wait for spot price to go down because premiums are going up. You're not going to benefit from it. So don't wait any longer. There was no bounce back from 2008. I don't think there's going to be a bounce back from this recession that is yet to be labeled a recession. There's going to need to be some type of a reform, maybe even a reset. If when this debt restructure or reset comes, gold and silver is the store of wealth that will help carry you over to safety and protect you from whatever the powers that be will toss our way. Gold and silver, it is your store of wealth. Whatever happens with fiat paper, it happens. But when you move to that safety, which is why it's called a safe haven asset, when you move to that safety, you are less exposed to whatever happens in the financial and the paper markets. And this is the reason why a lot of us we are in gold and silver. We understand that it's not about the price. So for you guys that are waiting for spot prices to drop, you're really not going to gain anything because premiums are going to go up or they are going to be higher than those spot prices. So if you can get it, get it. But a lot of us, we're seeing where there's going to be delays. So you may not be able to walk out of the store with the gold and silver items that you want. You're going to walk out of the store with what they have. So we're kind of at that point right now. So if you can get it, just get it. So I'll take a look at a few more of your questions here. C. Rodriguez, USMCA, cash bombs away. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more cash that's going to be thrown out. You wait and see. A lot more cash will be thrown into this whole system. 495, I am sure that actual cash will be around for quite a few more years. Too big a change for most to comprehend in short time, in my opinion. I agree with you there. I don't think, especially for older guys like myself, not comfortable without having that cash because we do also understand that cash represents some kind of a freedom. Same with how gold and silver will be. And, when I hear guys, all of these wealth coaches and whatnot, they talk about financial freedom and people understand it to be you have piles and piles of cash and real estate and things like that. I look at it as gold and silver. To me, financial freedom means having something outside of the system. That's my definition of financial freedom. But everyone's different. Daryl, Rowan, Marples, buy all the gold and silver you possibly can now. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I apologize if I'm putting fear out there. It's not my intent. My intent is to just let you know that these are the things that gold and silver do. This is where we are now in time. There are things that can help us, but those things are getting harder to get. Like I said, you're going to go down to your local shop and you're going to leave with whatever they have. You're not going to leave with what you want. And we're going to, I think, see that more and more until these shipments start coming back online. Buy it while you can. Absolutely. Um, Cash equals anonymity. Ralph Steiner. Yeah, it does. It does. Let's see. Tony, is gold supposed to float? No, it should. It should not float. It should not float. If unless you put it in salt water, maybe it has a chance to float because salt water gives more buoyancy to things, but should not float. So if you got some gold that's floating around, you might want to check that. Check it out with a magnet or something else. Um, let's see. Daryl, as the market crashes, your cash becomes more and more worthless. You know what, Daryl? That's a good point. You've said this before. Cash has an expiration date. Um, Cash has an expiration date. Having it now, I think is a good thing, but at some point later on down the road, that expiration date is going to kick in. So you just got to figure out when is the right time for you to exit out of that cash. It's a good point. Very good point. Um, let's see. I'm your pappy. Silver squeeze on supplies. Certain people buying up. A lot of people buying up. As mentioned before, it's not uncommon now where, let's just say, the average person buying is buying about the 30 to 40,000 dollar range. So serious money is moving in, and these guys are having to wait. Well, I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of the deliveries are delayed or coming in a couple weeks. So the serious money is buying what they can right now. They are buying what they can. So average Joes, you get what you can. You get what you can, and if it's not what you want, don't worry about it so much. Just get what you can for now. Um, Michael Kordak, bad health is the worst liability. Agree. I'd have to agree with that. For sure. We got to take care of ourselves. Especially at this point where hospitals, if they're not overrun, they're going to be, or potentially can be overrun. So you want to take care of yourself as best you can, including myself. I need to take care of myself as best I can. Um, Ralph Steiner, Dow 55 to 6,000 can very well be. Um, RR, it's all about the timing of things. Absolutely. Timing right now, timing is everything. It surely is. So with that, I'm gonna have to be wrapping up. Got some things I need to take care of with work. And again, if you guys are our customers, bear with customer service. These guys are working from sunrise to moonrise or moonset. I don't know how you want to call it, but these guys are up all day, all night, trying to get through and process these orders, new accounts, and things like that. So they are working hard. If at all, be as patient as you can. We're going to get through the emails. We're going to get through all these accounts. Just be a bit patient. Your orders will get there. Everything will be filled. Um, Emails again will be answered. So hang in there. And if you haven't opened an account, go to our website www.silverbullion.com.sg. Open an account. It's free, and do consider the benefits of possibly of storing some of what you have or your wealth, store of wealth outside of your jurisdictions, because the last thing you want is to keep everything with you, and then nationalization or whatever else may come into play. So you definitely want to have a good amount on you, but you also want to keep some outside of where you are currently at, out of your jurisdiction. Um, Again, it's just because if this is meant to help you, you want to make sure that it's going to be there for you. You don't want the Fed octopus or the government reaching in and because I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, you look at what's going on in New York. If they're already finding guys, as some of you have said, $500 or whatever it was, um, government's looking for money. They are looking for money. So just consider it. Think about what fits best with you. Consider it, and if you got any questions about it, go ahead and email us sales@silverbullion.com.sg. Let me put that link, and you can just talk to us about some of these things. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Let me just the mic is in the way of my keyboard right now. Sorry about that. But if you have any questions, definitely get with us, and we'll help you understand, because storage is not as difficult as you think. It's a pretty simple process. So there you go. That's our link. Send us an email. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you through it. But you guys take care. Thomas Stoops, good night. Hash beats. Thanks, and ciao, or ciao. Thank you. You guys take care. Um, God willing, we'll see you guys next week. Elbo Sanchez, take care. Yeah, you're the big kahuna, my friend. Good to see you again. Hope everything's going well. But you guys take care. We'll see you guys next week. And upcoming, I believe it's going to be Jim Rogers. So hang on for that. I think it's going to be a pretty good interview. And then should be Gregor Gregerson, the founder of Silver Bullion. He's going to probably answer the questions that have always, or that's in your mind lately. So you guys take care. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe. Stay safe. And as always, saddle up for what's coming ahead and silver up. We'll see you next week. You guys take care.